Hi, my name is Sam Sullivan, and today I'm going to be talking about organizing your bookshelf. I've always been a very avid reader ever since I was little, and I have so many, like you can probably see all the books I have back there. Those are the ones I've read that I own, and I have more all along this wall and shelves that I just haven't read yet. I'm going to read again. And so I really love books. That's the point here. So I think it's really important for any book reader or someone who owns a lot of books to really organize their bookshelf in a way that they like it. That way, when you walk into the room, you can find books you want to reread, or you can just look at it and be like, wow, like I read all those books and it looks beautiful. So today we're just going to be discussing different ways you can organize your bookshelf, and yeah. So first off, what you're going to need is a pretty good and sturdy bookshelf. There's a lot of options out there on Amazon, in any stores, and IKEA is a great place to go. I got my bookshelf from IKEA. It's the Billy bookcase in white, and they have a bunch of different designs, styles, sizes that can really suit your needs. But basically you just need a bookshelf that has a bunch of different shelves and the spacing isn't too like wide. I used to have a bookshelf that was really wide spacing. You want to make sure it's just right so you're not wasting space, and you want to make sure it's big enough to hold all your books, which mine is not. I plan on getting another one because I have so many books, but I can't until quarantine's over because IKEA is closed. But I plan on getting another one, so I'm going to reorganize my whole bookshelf then. But in preparation of getting this new bookshelf, I thought, what better time than to reorganize the one I already have and figure out a plan for what I'm going to do. So, there's 3 different ways to organize your bookshelf that I'm going to show you. There's organizing it alphabetically by author, and then there's organizing it by size, and then organizing by color. Now, personally, my favorite is color, and that's how it is right now, back there. But I'm just going to take it all down. I'm going to show you how to organize your bookshelf in these 3 different ways. Okay, so the first one we're going to be talking about is by alphabetical order. And by this, I mean you're going to be using the author's last name to organize all of your books in alphabetical order. Now, libraries use this method. That's why when you go to a library, you can easily find what book you're looking for because you just look it up in the system and it tells you like the letters you're supposed to be looking for, and you just go to that section and then you find your book. So there's pros and cons to every single one that I'm going to be talking about. And for this method of alphabetical ordering, there are a couple of pros and a couple of cons. So first off, pros, it's really easy to navigate, especially if you go to the library a lot. It's set up just like a library. You know what author you're looking for, and then you go and you search, like, oh, A, it's by the top. So it's really easy to find the author in the book if you know what the author is. However, on the other side of that, if you don't know what the author is, a big con is not knowing where your book is. I know a lot of books that I've read, I don't know the author's last name personally. So for me, that'd be a little hard to find, or if I forget an author, then I'd have to like scan the entire shelf, and that would just take a while. So in conclusion, it can be really easy to find your books with this method because it's kind of like a library, easy to find by the last name of the author, but it can also be really hard, especially if you don't know the author's last name. So now I'm going to take all of my books off the shelf and I'm going to organize it by author's last name. Now this will take a while, so I'll do like a speed lapse to show you, but here we go. Okay, so first we're going to start taking down all the decorations and then taking down all the books. Okay, so now the decorations are all down, so now we're going to take down all the books. So I'm a little short, so it took a little bit to get to those top shelves, but eventually I did it. But what you want to do during this step is make sure to stack your books in nice, neat piles. If you just strew them out about and across the floor, it's going to be really hard to organize them later, so put them in nice, neat piles. Okay, so as you can see, I've cleared off my entire bookshelf. My cat likes it. Okay.
Okay, so here what I'm basically doing is I'm just taking books from each pile and I am organizing them into different piles based on the first letter of the author's last name. So if it was J.K. Rowling, that'd be an R, and you can see all the Harry Potter books piling up, and that's the R pile, and there's different piles for every letter. Now, I don't know why I did this, but it cut off the last part of that video, so I was a little upset, as you can see here. So here are all the books. There's a big circle of them. A's start here, goes B, all the way around. There's my cat. He loves this. And then ends with Z. And this is actually one of the easiest methods, I think, because it was really, really simple just to like find the last name of the author and put it in a pile. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to organize every pile by like alphabetical within the pile. So here we go. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going within each pile and I'm organizing it alphabetically in that pile. And as you can see here, I was so close to finishing these piles and then it cut out again. And then I was upset again. Okay, so I just finished organizing all the books on the floor. And my video keeps stopping, like, I don't know why. I think it's because I have too many videos and too much storage taken up. So I just deleted a lot of videos. So hopefully it won't keep stopping. But yes, that is all done. Now I'm gonna put it on the bookshelf so we can see what it looks like. So here I am putting stuff on the bookshelf. I'm a little short for it, so I had to kind of stand up on a little stool. And then my dad came in and gave me flowers. Very cute. But as you can see here, I am basically putting everything on and I'm checking to make sure everything is flat. So I'll take the tallest or like the book that's protruding the most and then I'll line all the other books up with that so it's nice and flat. And here are all the books that I could not fit onto my bookshelf because I turned some of the covers so they're facing forward. And I was a little upset because I still had all those books that I couldn't fit. Okay, so here's the final result. And this is going by alphabetical order by author's last name. So up top we have the A's. And then it goes down to C's, all the way down in the alphabet. Now I turned out some of the books that were some of my favorites or that had like really pretty covers. And I usually do this with my bookshelves, but it does take up more space. So I had to, these were not accounted for. These will not fit on my bookshelf. But yeah, alphabetical order. Okay, so the next one we're going to be talking about is by size. Now this one is a little bit unconventional. I haven't ever seen anyone else's bookshelf like this. And it's very visually appealing. Like it's very smooth, a nice gradual descent by size. There's no like jaggedness in the books. You see what the other styles we're using. However, it is really, really hard to find the book that you're looking for. Now, if you know the book you're looking for is huge, then you're good. You know it's like near the top or bottom, wherever you organize it. You know it's where the big books are. But if it's like in the middle, there's a lot of middle books, and it's really, really hard to find what you're looking for. There's really no order to it, except by size, but it guesses the point. So it's very visually appealing, which is a great plus. However, it is really hard to find what you're looking for. So I don't recommend it for someone who doesn't really know their books that well, because it's really hard to find that one book if you're looking to like reread one. So it's not very practical in the long run, because you're going to be looking for books for a while if you're trying to like pull some out to look at them for some reason. But it is very satisfying to look at it, and when I did do this, it looked so satisfying. I can't even tell you how satisfying it was. So now I'm going to get into organizing it like that, and here we go. So of course, in order to organize it again, we have to take down all the books that we already put on there. So I took down all of the books again. Okay, so when I first sat down to do this, I was very intimidated. There's just a lot of books there. They were just sitting in my face, and I didn't really know what to do. So as I kept going, I kind of fit these books into a couple different piles. Most of them had roughly the same size and shape, and they fit into the various piles. Now, something that happened here was I thought this one series all was the same size and they would all go together, but I was wrong. Two of the books are the same size, but that last one was not. So I was a little upset about that. So when you do this, really check and make sure these books fit, even if they are in the same series. So as you can see here, this is the finished result. I have my biggest hardcovers at the very end. These are the biggest books that I own. They're huge. And then next are just the generic hardcovers. Most of these are like the same size. And there's like smaller ones over there. And then over in that little corner are just random books. They're just like between the hardcover and the softcover. Most of the soft covers fit into this category. They were very nice. And then the rest of them, oh, there's my cat. The rest of them fit into these little categories. And then at the very end, we had Howl's Moving Castle, the smallest book that I own. And again, I just want to emphasize how big these books are. They are ginormous. And right about here, I emphasize just how flat it is. It is a very straight line. There are no jagged edges like it was with the other style, and it's just very visually appealing. And again, I have my leftover books that would not fit onto my bookshelf.
Okay, so here is the final result of organizing by size. So up top we have the really, really big hardcovers, and then it gets smaller right away. So that top row is just really big hardcovers, and then it goes down to these, and these are all pretty much the same size hardcover, which is really nice. It's really a really smooth line, which is amazing. And then you get down to here, again, beautiful smooth lines. We love to see it. Even down here when it changes, like you can barely tell, and it's still beautiful.
So while this method was very beautiful, it did not keep series together as I thought it would. Some of the books were just different sizes like I mentioned earlier, and it was just a little disappointing to see that.
So the last method we're going to be talking about is organizing by color, and this is my absolute favorite method. It is just so beautiful, so visually appealing. I get so many compliments whenever people see pictures of it, or whenever they come over to my room and then they see it, they're like, oh my god, that's beautiful. And I just love it. I don't think I'm ever going to organize it differently than color because it's my favorite right now. It's been like this for like 2 or 3 years, and it's just, I love it so much. So let's get into the pros and cons of this. A pro, very beautiful, very visually appealing. If you're very artsy, it's just, you see the colors of the rainbow just gradually go. Beautiful, beautiful. A con that I found really hard when I first organized it like this a couple years ago was separating different series. So I know, like, if you have the Hunger Games series, like the first book is black, the second one is red, and then the third one is blue. So obviously those are not going to stay together, so you had to separate them. And there's other series that are like that. Rarely ever do you keep a series or a same author together, which is kind of sad because some of them like go together really well. But the end result, I think, is way worth it. It's just so beautiful when you finish it. And that's why it's still my favorite to this day. So I'm going to teach you how to organize your bookshelf like that. Here we go.
So this is the third time taking my books down, but I'm really excited because I get to change it back to being color. So here I'm a little tired from moving around books all day, but I'm really excited to get my bookshelf back to how it was and to get it organized. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically just taking all of the reds at the moment and just putting them all into one pile. It doesn't really matter the order of the pile, just get all of the colors that are red and put them there. Next is going to be oranges and yellows, and then greens, and then blues, and so on and so forth. So here are the finished piles. We have reds, oranges, yellows, blues. Here are the whites, the blacks, and there's also a miscellaneous pile that nothing really fits in. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking all of the reds and I'm organizing them even more within their color. So I have like the brighter reds near the beginning, and then I gradually shift it to a darker red, which will gradually shift more to an orangish color. So here my sister is, and she was wondering what I was doing, so I kind of explained it to her, and we talked for a little bit, so I'm just going to skip ahead. So now what we're going to be doing is moving the finished piles to the side of the room and keep them in the same order that we organized them in. Now as we keep going, it gets a little bit harder, especially with the blues and some of the iffier colors, because it's a little bit difficult to decide exactly the order. And here I am, just so excited to finally be done. So of course, now we have to start putting the books back on the bookshelf again. So you keep them in the same order that you organize them in, and then make sure they're nice and flat, like we did before, and then it looks good. And now we're just going to continue along and keep putting books on the shelves. And you can always turn one cover to face forward so you can see it like I did up top. And it really just makes it pop and makes it stand out. And here I'm shaking my head because my video cut out yet again. And at the end, I did still have 2 books left over that didn't fit onto my shelf.
So the last thing that we're going to talk about and I'm going to show you is how you can personalize your bookshelf, kind of make it your own. And what I like to do is I like to add different little stuffed animals or I collect snow globes, so I add little snow globes to different colors. I like to make my decorations match with the books, the book colors. So like if the blue section, I add like a blue decoration and so on and so forth. I'll say hi. Hello. So basically you can just add whatever you want to your bookshelf and just make it pretty, make it your own, make it unique to you.
So I'm going to be using the same decorations as before. They might be in slightly different places because of where the books are, but basically I have a bunch of different little mugs, little trinkets, snow globes, and they're all just different colors, and I put them in different places, and they just really make things pop on the bookshelf. And I'm all done. Yay!
So, in conclusion, this is a very, very time-consuming process. Like, do not do this unless you have a few hours to kill, because it does take a long time, especially if you're trying out different methods like I am. But I think it is so worth it to have a beautiful bookshelf as a result, and I think it's just so worth it to go into that room and just to look at it, and especially for right now when we're in quarantine and we can't really go outside and do our normal physical activities or outdoor activities or be with our friends, and you're kind of confined to your indoor space. I think it's a great thing to do if you have a lot of books, or even if you have a little bit of books. Like, you can still do this without like a huge collection like I have. You can do this with like 10 books even. And you can just personalize your little book area, make it your own, make it beautiful, make it amazing. And I cannot tell you how amazing it feels to have your bookshelf so organized, and you will get compliments on it no matter what you do. People will walk in and see your bookshelf and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so organized, it's so pretty. So yeah, I really think it is worth it to do this very time-consuming process. So just some final tips before we go. First step is to find a good, sturdy bookshelf. It has to be sturdy so your books don't fall over the place, and it has to have good enough spacing where you're not wasting a lot of space. It can be whatever bookshelf you want. Remember, I have the IKEA bookshelf, but you don't have to get a super expensive one. You can get a cheaper one or a smaller one, wider one, whatever you want, whatever fits your space and whatever you need. Next step is to decide how you're going to organize it. Are you going to do it by alphabetical order, like our first step that we did? Or are you going to do it by size with a gradual descent? Or are you going to do it by color? You know, color is my favorite, so I'm voting for that one. But whatever floats your boat. Or you can do a completely different style that I didn't talk about here. There's tons of ways to organize your bookshelf. I saw one way in a video a few years back where they flipped the books around where you couldn't see the cover, and it was just like the pages that you saw, and it looked okay, I guess, but like, I don't know how you're supposed to find your books. Like, I don't know how. But you can, whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you. Next, you have to take everything down and lay it on the floor. And I really suggest making sure you can see all of your books, all the titles, authors, covers, whatever.
Especially if you're doing like the color method, you want to be able to see what colors you have while you're organizing. So you can, you know, organize by color. And I recommend doing it on the floor before you put it on your shelf so you don't have to keep reaching up and everything. So just take everything down, lay it on the floor, organize it on the floor, and then move it to your shelf as you go. So the last step is to personalize it and have fun. I cannot stress how much you need to just have fun with this. If you think of it as a task that needs to get done and like just groan on about it, it's not going to be fun, it's not going to be enjoyable, you're not going to like doing it. But if you just take it in stride, try and have a little bit of fun with it and personalize it near the end, where you add your own little things to each shelf, I think you're really going to love the end result and it's going to look so good. So, just some final remarks. I hope this helps you in your bookshelf or organizing journey, and I want you to have fun with it, and I want you to make it amazing.